Okay. So... There's still tons of them.
No, there's so many. Oh man.
Okay.
We're recording. You didn't tell me. You just went. You just sat down. I thought we were
That was just
on a break.
Tickling your nipple. Okay, so now we're going to look at the top 10 best and top 10 worst of 2020.
We haven't done that. Fuck.
We haven't.
Or this. Yeah, bitches, we're back.
Wow. Okay.
Will we do our top 10 worst or top 10 best first?
Well, we run through kind of a quick run through of what we did kind of get to see.
Like, you do it because you can actually see.
So we saw
Mulan, the Trial of Chicago 7, Super Intelligence, The Last Thing You Wanted,
Babysitter
2, we
Bill and
saw
Ted.
Call of the Wild, Wolfwalkers, Onward, Soul, Rebecca,
Wonder Woman 84, Happiest Season.
Movie Halloween.
Who
the fuck watches that?
I did.
Rialto, Pinocchio, The Five
Toga.
Bloods,
Matt Ready, Swan Bottom.
yeah.
Mank.
what? I mean,
For a year that you were about to say exactly the same thing.
Exactly the same thing. For a year that was fucking dead, there was we did watch quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not a lot of it was on the big screen, but
No, it was
that's why
mostly
we've got to
streaming.
combine. That's the world we live in. We've got to combine now stuff from the big screen and the small screen.
If we had been doing this 20 years ago, would we have been putting in a TV movie?
Especially because it would have been the end of the 90s when TV movies were fucking dreadful.
Yeah. And had no budget.
Really don't like the 90s.
And would have notoriously reused footage of explosions from other films.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. Because I remember watching Nemesis and then watching something else and being like, wait,
That's
was in Nemesis.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
I was like, Albert, what are you doing?
Not only that, it was just the whole production design of the 90s, the costumes, the
Lighting.
oh, I hated
I loved
it.
all the neon.
I hated it.
I grew up on that, so I love it.
And the Matrix kind of hit the end of the 90s there, and
Yeah.
that started to change things, but then everyone wanted to be like the Matrix. And
Everyone wants to be like someone. We just want to be like us.
yes, just like us.
Because we're unique.
We are unique. So Mark, let's start with the top 10 of 2020.
Excuse me. Oh, that banana. Oh, it tastes as good coming back up as it did going down.
Wow, that's
So, right. So, am I doing my worst or my best?
Well, let's do worst first, will we?
Okay.
Yeah.
Starting at number
What's your number 10? Yes.
10. My number 10 for worst was the New Mutants.
Wow, okay. That's better than I thought you would.
I did notoriously hate it whenever we went to see it. I was very much like,
Disappointed.
oh my god. Do you know what was so frustrating about it was largely the casting. Because the people were very, apart from Anya Taylor-Joy as Magic,
Yes.
although, do you know what, actually, we were talking about Marvel earlier, and Magic is a big part of, like, you know, the Secret Warriors and stuff.
Yeah.
Please, I like Anya Taylor-Joy, just recast Magic. Just get rid of that whole image.
Yeah.
But it was a massive disappointment, and what sticks out for me is that bit at the end when Danny is faced with this giant fucking fog dog, and she just goes, no! And it's like, that's how they defeated Thanos, with a big bad no!
That's
bad
when you
doggy.
first time laughing in
That
the
I did.
cinema.
I literally exploded.
Yeah.
I couldn't control myself. I was like, I can't believe she just did this. But it, like I said, and we both said, it would have been so much better as a limited series.
Well,
you know,
then
to
that-
expand those characters or to have it as a series on Freeform or
Yeah.
ABC or Disney Plus or anything than what it was.
Yeah.
And better cast and not have who was behind that?
Boom.
Josh Boone. Yeah, not to have Josh Boone behind it.
Sorry, Josh.
I know everyone needs their chance and everyone needs the opportunity, but give someone that's had more experience.
Yeah, I think that was the problem.
do that.
It was a run before you could walk kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well,
so that was my 10th.
that was your
I
10.
was
Well,
very, very disappointed.
my number 10 in the worst of 2020 was, for me,
Yeah.
Tenet. Tenet.
If you're gonna give hate, give the hate to that side.
Look, I mean, not a bad Well, do you know what? Even technically, I was like, what the fuck? I no. Do you know what? Overrated, overhyped, just no, a mess. And I don't look. I mean, I know there's been lots of talk of how Christopher Nolan has now come out to explain how it's all been and why this happened and what this meant and all that. Look, no, fuck's sake, no.
We know what it was. It was a one big palindrome.
Yeah, I know, but it tripped over itself. I think it just got a wee bit. Now, again, it's my number 10. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it definitely wasn't the worst thing ever made. But
Nope.
it disappointed me. And I think that's, as you say, with the New Mutants, I was I was disappointed. I went, as I said in our last review about it, in one of our videos way back when, I went to the toilet to try and just have a wee break. And when I came back, it was still like...
Because your ears were still ringing.
That was the worst.
Sound effects were crazy.
No, I don't need to see that ever again. Thank you very much, Christopher. Move along. Number 9.
Number 9. What was my number 9?
I don't know. You tell
Because I
me.
can't actually read. My number 9 was Netflix's remake adaptation of Rebecca. Daphne du Maurier's
yes,
Rebecca.
yeah.
Billy James and Armie Hammer and Kristen Scott Thomas. Talk about boring.
Well,
It was just... Have you ever seen Alfred Hitchcock's original? It's quite a gothic horror story, this kind of mystery of Rebecca.
Okay.
She's like a presence, an omnipresence.
Yeah.
You know, she is kind of, in the original book and in Hitchcock's adaptation, she is very much almost a ghost.
okay.
But
I
she's
don't
not
know,
really.
actually.
It's kind of like almost in the mind of the new Mrs.
Yes. She's bringing her almost
Mrs.
to
De Winter.
life, let's say. Yeah.
The new Mrs. De Winter played by Lily James in this version, played by Joan Fontaine in the original. It's more of like, she is more like, why is this woman still controlling so much of this household and I can't become the wife of Armie Hammer like every single human being on the world wants to be.
Even Timothée Chalamet wants to be.
Even Timothée wants a bit of Armie. But it was just so drab. You know, the costumes were kind of meh. The photography was meh.
There was just nothing to
There was
really grab
nothing
you.
that gripped me, nothing that grabbed me. It was so disappointing because I was so looking forward to it. And knowing the strength of the source material, having read the book,
Yeah.
seeing the original film, I was
How
like,
could you go wrong
wow,
almost?
it's been 80 years since they've done this film. How could they go wrong? They phenomenally
did.
failed. It just was an absolute travesty from start to finish and just bored the tits of me.
Well, I could say the same thing for my number 9.
Yeah.
Although it didn't take 80 years, it was a wee bit less. But Bill and Ted Face the Music was
I can't believe this is in your worst.
number 9 for again. I smiled while watching it. I did not laugh out loud. I think until maybe 45 minutes to an hour in.
Yeah. When dead.
But it was disappointing.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It was 20 years too late.
Mm-hmm.
It was 22 years too late. These guys, Alex was the better actor, as we said
Yes,
before
we did.
the review.
Yeah.
There was just nothing new. I think they were just trying to and Hollywood do this quite a bit with old movies that they try to revive. They try to bring back that magic from the 80s or 70s or whenever it was. Not Bill and Ted, but just generally speaking.
Yeah.
Reignite a movie franchise that just doesn't work because they're too like they're talking about the Twins sequel with Arnie and Danny DeVito.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean,
Why?
Yeah, again, far too late.
Do a junior sequel as well, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
why not? But, yeah, number 9 for me has to be Bill and Ted. More so because it just didn't need to. Didn't need to be.
And clarifying this list, these are based on what we've actually seen.
Yeah.
So this is why it's varying maybe a little bit to what either of us would pick.
Yeah.
So my number 8
is...
well, it should just... it should be Blumhouse in general. But, Blumhouse's...
You're being far too kind to this, by the way.
That's because there's much worse films. Whenever I go through, you'll understand.
Oh, I don't know.
Fantasy Island,
Yeah.
Christ above. It was fucking shocking. I mean, I mean, do you know what I really wanted to hear from this film? The pain blast, the pain! That's all I wanted to hear.
But it just didn't happen.
It didn't. And it was so fucking stupid. I mean, I can understand, from the original Fantasy Island...
That's a quote I'd like to see on the poster, on the Blu-ray release. It's so fucking stupid. Half a star. That's what I would like to see.
It's so fucking stupid.
That would be it.
The Blu-ray's already out, so unfortunately they can't take my quote.
We can take a Sharpie in.
Yeah, we'll take a Sharpie and just write it all over every Blu-ray and Tesco's and Sainsbury's. But it was so... It made no... I mean, yes, the original series kind of had that where, your wishes can go wrong and,
But
what
that
you wish
suited
for.
the time that it was made.
Absolutely, yeah. Then, I know, what the fuck was that? It sounded like an airplane was going over there. There should be no planes in the sky!
The plane!
The plane, man! The plane! It was perfect! I got it! The plane, boss! The plane! No. They cast the worst people apart from Maggie Q, who I love.
Yes, but it was just...
And she was a bit badass.
Do you know what?
And I do really like her.
For me, it was almost like, who have we got hanging around the studio and who wants to make a movie today?
Yeah. And Blumhouse kind of thinking, let's make another quick buck. Stop it, Jason. No. Seriously. Stop it
really
now.
need to stop.
So that is my 8th
It's actually
worst.
annoying me as much as Ryan Murphy is. Right? My number 8 was, and again, not that it's, well, yeah, it was.
This nearly made my top 10.
Yeah.
Very nearly.
But again, just didn't do enough for me. It was Eurovision. There was so much talk about it. There was so much blah blah. I do enjoy a Will Ferrell movie. I do laugh at him.
The story of Fire Saga. Volcano Man.
Look, it had its moments. It did make me smile. But very much like Bill and Ted, it didn't make me laugh out loud.
Yeah, I know.
But it was meh. It was just meh. But a lot of people liked it.
We watched it all together as a friendship group with our friends, whenever it was safe to. We didn't bring any kind of it.
We were working.
Yeah, we were actually. I was generally, but yeah.
Yeah, that's all we can really. Yeah. I mean, it does have a few nice moments, but it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, number 7.
Number 7
of your worst of 2020.
Again, I think I'm being too kind to this, but again, there was worse films that I seen, but this one, Doolittle, did little for me. Did very little. Doolittle does fuck all.
That's
is what
true.
It should have been.
Very true.
Literally,
he
is the most depressing fucking character I have ever experienced. Robert Downey Jr. made me want to hang myself. I was like, I've never seen a character on screen that's so depressed that actually makes me want to die.
Do you know
Robert Downey Jr.
The original Dr. Doolittle, and I'm not talking Eddie Murphy here.
No, he's talking the original.
Was amazing.
Yeah,
one
who
of
was
my
that?
It's gone.
It's gone.
I want to say Richard.
No.
No.
It'll come to
Welsh actor.
Yes. Well, anyway, we know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But amazing. One of my childhood favourites.
Yeah.
And so many things in that blew me away. Even as a kid, I was just like, "Well, he's riding in a Jan Snail." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
There was just nothing. This felt like
the worst voice cast in history.
Without a doubt. Yeah. And that Welsh.
Selena Gomez is a giraffe. I didn't understand. She's not even tall.
No, but it was just It was a disaster.
Well, it was.
But it's not. It's your number 7.
It's my number 7,
isn't it?
It was my number 7. I just honestly no.
No.
No. I wish I'd never spent the time on it. I wish I had never even. It wasn't even about Dr. Doolittle.
I think this should have been down your list somewhere.
Trust me, I have much harsher things to say about other films.
Okay.
But it didn't even focus on Dr. Doolittle. It focused on these 2 wee brats that I fucking hated the whole film. And then
it looked beautiful, but
Doolittle's like, I'm gonna get my boat out and I'm gonna help you kids. Very reluctantly.
Yeah, there was.
He was like, he had no character to him.
Nothing made sense.
No.
Really.
It's part of me wants to say, Robert, stick to Iron Man.
Yeah, sorry, you're stereotyped.
Don't do anything else.
You're locked.
Yeah, literally.
Number 7 for me was Ava, of which I've watched this year. Obviously, was my 2020 disappointment. Was Ava. Couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it. It was just no. I know you love her. I know that Bryce is your favourite.
It's not Bryce. She is not.
I am not Jessica Chastain.
But yes, no, Ava for me was not. No, she is not an action starlet. No.
We don't know.
No, 30 years watching real action starlets.
Listen,
I'm sorry, but
on.
no, she can't even run properly.
Fuck off. She just had a kid.
It was boring. We've seen it all before.
Yeah.
This
true.
was a total rehash of everything that is
Nikita.
out there. Oh, fuck me. Nikita, Bourne, wherever you want to go with it. I mean, it was boring.
Okay.
So, anyway.
Oh,
Boring.
but can I say,
Oh, you can't save her, but yes.
I love
She
Jessica.
does. She does.
I
So-
love you. I love you so much. You're my favourite actress. I like that they attempted to do something a little bit different in terms of kind of having her as like this former alcoholic and sending her maybe back down this road. It just wasn't fleshed out enough for me.
No.
But I do think that having seen The Debt, did you ever see The Debt with Jessica Chastain?
No.
She learnt that, what do you call that, Israeli?
I feel this film owes me a debt.
Well, to you and maybe a million other people. To me, I love it because it's Jess. But what is that Israeli martial arts called?
Oh, shite. Sorry, it's left me, but it's going to be on the screen now.
She learnt that for The Debt.
Oh, yeah.
And she was so fucking convincing in it.
I know, but...
And then I watched Ava and I was like, we don't need the heels, we don't need the wigs. If you had just literally been broken up the whole film, like smashed face.
Do you know what I enjoyed much
ripped
more
clothes.
than that?
What?
Salt. With Angelina Jolie. That was a kick-ass action starlet right there as a special agent. For me, that was amazing compared to this.
Well, let's hope the 355 in January 2022
23, 24, 25.
revives hope in female action films.
Well, not hold my breath.
I'm glad Ava actually came out this year because any other year I think it would have been like totally ripped
would
to
have been
shreds.
totally.
So I'm kind of
totally
glad it was went
destroyed.
under the radar.
Didn't go under my radar.
No, it did not.
So what's your number 6 of the worst?
My number 6, hate to say it. Actually, I don't hate to say it because it's from Ryan Murphy and it's The Prom.
Fuck you, they're far too kind. Okay. Wow.
That's because I've genuinely seen worse films. This film just for me was, it was an attack on the senses in all the wrong senses.
Yeah.
I just didn't want it to attack. I was blinded by the visuals and the lighting and the colour, and then I was
And the
shocked
offensiveness.
by James Corden's atrocious portrayal of a gay man because they all act like that every single day. I'm a gay.
Oh, my husband.
Well, Kenny does, yes. I just hope he
But
doesn't see this
still,
one. I'm
no.
not agreeing with him, Kenny. But it was
No, he
so
actually,
bad.
James Corden made Kenny look like Rambo.
I did.
Because it was so overacted.
We said this. James Corden, what's so interesting and what really pissed me off about Ryan Murphy for this film was that the boys in the band, the first all openly gay cast members, was a big thing. He then does The Prom, which has a gay character and a straight character, and he cast James Corden as a homo and Andrew Rannells as the straight guy.
As if it's something
Why?
special.
That is fucking stupid. And we said Nathan Lane would have made the perfect counterpart for Meryl
Perfect.
Streep. Now, Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman I do love. So that's why it's kind of a little bit higher on my list, because stop it! Stop dissing my faves!
And all that jazz.
No.
What?
A little zazz.
No, it's all that jazz. Okay, well, do you know what my
Meryl.
number 6 was?
What? Is it
Another-
number 6 already?
Yeah!
Wow.
That's what you just done. Your
Oh,
number
did I?
6 was
Okay.
The Prom
The Prom.
by Ryan Murphy.
Yeah.
He also did The Boys in the Band, which was my number 6. You dick.
I actually didn't mind it at all.
No, I did. I just can't have the man.
I
Sorry, but no,
Yeah.
do you know what? Again, as we talked about in our video where we talked about the boys in the band, that's just not how we get on. And
it's
I know that wasn't him necessarily that created that, but
I think if someone put a camera in with the four of us,
no.
it would be pretty fucking
It
similar.
would be pretty similar, but not as gay.
Raking the piss out of each other, but not as
Just
gay.
not as
Yeah.
gay. And not as evil. I mean,
No, they were fucking brutal.
they make people think that gay people are real
Bitches.
and it's
We are,
just,
though.
well, no, it's just not. Do you know
We're
what?
no more bitchy than straight men.
I've said before, I've avoided many LGBT programs.
Yeah.
People, fuck them, and
You have
because
to.
they've just been so misrepresented, and so well, no, I haven't. But just because they're stereotyped, they're presented in such a bad light.
Yeah.
It's either sex fiends, drugs, depression, darkness. You know, there's always
Bitchiness,
something
yeah.
really negative, and
Overly camp.
yeah.
Yeah. Into
Everything. I
fashion.
mean, you look at news reports, you look at
No.
any television show that has
Yeah.
a gay person, they're always,
Very flamboyant.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they want that stereotypical gay. And so anyway, for me, it was entertaining to a point. But then it just got over the top and it just got boring.
Just find the screenplay very clever. Very fast paced, and I thought that
Yeah, unnatural.
what is it, Jim Parsons was fantastic, and Zachary Quinto. They were both very, very good in their roles. I think it was very well acted.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. There
Yes.
was nobody was terrible, but it just, again, I think I'm at my halfway mark, and I think it was disappointing.
Okay.
Before I go into what really annoyed me because they were so bad, this was disappointing and annoyed me, and it's rambling.
Okay.
Number 5.
Number 5. I want to put this film higher. I do.
Where are you going with it?
Number 5 was, no surprise to anybody that knows me, The Witches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Number 5.
I
Woo. Okay.
mean, how the mighty have fallen. To comprehend that this film was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who brought us
Some
Back to the
crackers.
Future, Forrest Gump, which I don't like, but you know, people
Yeah,
love
yeah,
it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
whatever. You know, he's done some amazing
Well,
films.
yeah.
He's produced some great things. He produced like the Tales from the Crypt TV show and all of that. He's worked with Richard Donner and produced some amazing films. The fact that he thought that this was a good idea baffles the fuck out of me. And the fact that anybody thought that it was a good idea to cast... yeah. To cast Anne Hathaway as the Grand High Witch needs shot in the face. And I mean literally shot square, centre in the forehead. She is not a good actress. I don't know how many bad films I need to mention about Anne Hathaway before people listen. She can't fucking act. Do you know, right, so what it is
Tell
she
me.
plays a character... The Grand High Witch is, you know, quite a
Yeah,
flamboyant
yeah,
character.
yeah.
Angelica Houston downplayed it. She was terrifying anyway, with the makeup, prosthetics, the way she spoke, the way she walked, the way she looked. Anne Hathaway is just a complete caricature. There's nothing scary about her. She's laughably bad. Her accent goes in and out of English and Russian and Spanish, and I don't know where the fuck she's supposed to be from in this film. She's from outer space. She just is horrible. The 3 fingers...
Yeah.
Was offensive.
So, yeah.
Actually, it wasn't, but it looked
But
really,
nobody
really stupid.
complained about the turtles.
No, exactly. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles only have 3 fingers. And then but that's because people hate Anne Hathaway.
Of course.
So it's called... We're actually called Hatha haters.
Wow.
So this is a thing. And I think it's now ingrained to me, and it doesn't matter what I'll see her in. I'm going to be a Hatha hater.
I'm getting that way with Ryan Murphy.
Well, we need to come up with a term for hating Ryan Murphy. But The Witches was my number 5.
Okay.
Even the effects and stuff weren't as innovative as the Jim Henson stuff from the
Yeah.
original. It was all CGI
Do
and
you
just
think
looked...
Roald Dahl would have enjoyed it?
No, absolutely not.
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
I only saw the trailer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch it.
No, even from the trailer.
Not even that dumb.
I paid $14.99 for it.
Well,
$14.99 I'll never get back.
my number 5 is already passed on your list, and it's the New Mutants.
Oh!
So
It's quite high.
It is quite high, and it's a major disappointment for me, but we kind of knew what was coming.
Yeah.
We knew with all the delays, the reshoots, the talk about it. As we've already mentioned, what else went on there.
Yeah.
there was still something that I kind of liked about it. There was still a wee hint. I liked the horror element to it. I liked the kind of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors feel to it. But yes, it was a bitter disappointment. Done. Number 4.
Can I read them? I don't think I can. I'm just coming forward to see you guys. Oh yes! My number 4 film was Artemis Fowl. And that was one foul film.
Wow.
It
Disney
was
Plus?
Disney Plus.
I mean, it looked fun.
Hell no. Okay.
The trailer, I mean, the trailer.
I never liked Harry Potter.
No, you didn't.
Even growing up with the books, Mum tried to get me to read the books, and I was like, this guy's a pansy. Like, I was like, he's more piffy than I am. They were all such crybabies. Everyone was so narcissistic and so obnoxious. I was like, I fucking hate this so much. So then Uncle for released Artemis Fowl, not very long after, and I was like, oh, yes, Artemis Fowl is an Irish bad boy criminal mastermind, and I love it. So, having read all the books and knowing the story behind it, I was really looking forward to seeing what Kenneth Branagh would do, because it's Kenneth Branagh!
Well, now.
And he's amazing!
Lives down the road.
Does live
Well,
you live down the road.
From down the road.
It's a giant fuck no from me.
Okay, well, there we go.
It was literally one of the... I was literally struggling to stay awake, and this is in the middle of the afternoon, and I'm like... And I was having to get up and rewind and being like, is there really any point in me rewinding? What am I missing here? The effects were poor, the casting was awful, the direction that they went with it, they jumped like 3 books ahead when the first book was a movie in itself, and it was just so confused and
Is
awful.
it kind of like Harry Potter meets the Men in Black? Is that the kind of vibe from it? No.
No, it's kind
Just
of like
how the
Harry
trailer
Potter.
looked, if you know what I mean, you know?
Well, yes, okay, so you could kind of say Men in Black meets Harry Potter meets like Labyrinth?
Oh, right, okay.
Underworld? What
Yeah.
what movie would kind of go into the underworld with like elves and stuff?
Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock. Do you know what? It's Men in Black meets Fraggle Rock. And that's not a good thing.
No, it's not.
Definitely not a good thing. So Artemis Fowl.
Artemis Fowl is your number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, well, my number 4 is Doolittle.
Because it did little for you.
It did very little.
It did.
Clearly less for me than it did you. Yeah, I mean, we've covered it. Number 4, Dr. Doolittle.
Dr.
Or
Doolittle.
Doolittle.
No, it was just Doolittle.
Doolittle, because he wasn't a doctor yet.
Because he...
And he's not going to ever reach being a doctor because that series
No,
is dead.
that should be put to bed and burnt.
Number 3.
My number 3 is a film that I detested so badly that I actually was screaming at the television, and this is The Wrong Missy, which stars the absolutely appalling David Spade and the actually quite funny but really repugnant Lauren Lapkus. I really like her. She does a show. She does do a internet show that's quite funny, with Dave Schwartz, and she is good, but she's so repugnant in this film. So basically, do you know the story of The Wrong Missy?
No.
I'll give you a real breakdown. David Spade meets a girl called Missy. She's an absolute fucking gorgeous thing. She's played by Amber Valletta, or some kind of model turned actress anyway.
Okay.
He then meets this other girl called Missy, played by Lauren Lapkus,
Yeah.
who's fucking
I
cray-cray,
did see
and
the
then he
trailer
gets
for
the
it.
wrong
Yeah.
number
Yeah.
and invites the wrong Missy on a holiday. And it is so freaking bad. David Spade is literally the most disgusting human being on the
Has
planet.
he still got a mullet?
No, he doesn't, but he's just so gross. And
Aw.
he makes me think that I want to vomit every time I see him.
Poor David.
And then poor Lauren Lapkus is acting like a complete tit, and she's very unlikable, and it's really hard to get into. And then there's moments where she's getting like slapped in the face with a dolphin dick, and it was like literally...
Wow.
I mean...
Was there a purpose for that? Or was she having a wheel of a time? Sorry.
That has to be your best quip ever. There was no purpose to
Okay,
it.
right.
It was just it was a gross out comedy that really just it never needed to exist, and people were being like, oh my god, this movie's hilarious, and I was
Oh.
like, I'm clearly missing the point.
Yeah.
But hated it.
Okay.
Absolutely hated it.
Well, interestingly enough, I didn't watch that one, but my number 3
Surprisingly.
is the Italian version release of this Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
No, oh fuck me. I can't even.
Pinocchio.
I mean, we spent maybe half an hour screaming about it on our last video. Fucking hell. Like, no. Beautifully made, as in...
The effects, the practical effects.
Oh, they were stunning. The sets were stunning.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy.
Inside the wheel was freaking incredible.
Yeah.
And the tuna fish was really scary, but it was...
Put him in prison!
Oh, call me prison!
If we had watched it in Italian,
I think
it might have been a different
it
story.
might have, yeah, it definitely would have been a different story, because I think something got lost in translation along the way there.
Pretty much the whole
no,
idea of Pinocchio.
that is,
and it was quite dark for a children's film.
yes, it was not what was on the poster, that's for sure.
No.
Or sold to us, and highly disappointed.
That big snail woman scared me.
But it was full of pedophiles and
Yes!
and fucking stuff that children shouldn't really be watching.
Nope.
So no, that's my number 3
Okay.
of 2020. One of the worst.
Yeah. So my number 2.
Ooh, number 2. What is
Yeah. Was The Last Thing I Wanted. Was The Last Thing He Wanted. Who stars in it? Anne Hathaway! What a fucking surprise!
Another
Fuck's
one?
sake,
Can't
yes.
believe you actually fit into Anne Hathaway movies.
Well, I could have fitted in 3 if Serenity had been a 2020 film, but it wasn't. It was a 2019 film, so or Serenity would have been my list. It was
What was it?
Trev. I don't even know.
Oh,
I mean, it was a film.
The last thing
he wanted.
wanted.
Yeah, it was the last thing the audience wanted, and it literally was. She is. Ben Affleck's in it as well. She's like a reporter, and I don't really understand.
that's a combination that would not attract
Yeah.
me.
Okay. So there we go.
That just no.
It was just no, and I can't believe I sat through an hour and 46 minutes of it thinking this is going to get better, and it really wasn't. It was actually so bad I've forgotten the primary story. I do know she's a journalist who goes out to a foreign country to try and do something and gets roped into something ropey, and it all was pretty ropey from
Ends
the
up
script to
being a
the
witch.
directing to... It's based on a book by Joan Didion. Do you know Joan
No,
Didion?
no.
Okay, she's quite a famous author. But it's based on a book that she did, not a very good book, and people will say it's not one of her greatest. But
she got it made into a movie.
well, it was made into a movie with Anne Hathaway, and that in itself is enough for me to say no. And it was truly that bad. I mean, it was more boring than what else says I was boring? Rebecca.
Rebecca, yeah.
So there we go.
Okay,
That was
interesting.
number 2.
God, yeah. Okay. Well, my number 2 was already on your list, which was Fantasy Island.
Your number 2.
My number 2. Fucking hated it. Done.
You can tell that the language has improved.
I just
Over lockdown.
no. Do you know what? Do you know what angers me? That money gets wasted on such shit movies.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm doing stuff for so little
Mm-hmm.
that I keep trying to make original or make fun or make sure that I'm not really giving out shite, and these people with millions are just
Spewing
throwing
shite.
out shite
Yeah.
as if it's just no problem.
Yeah.
I need to catch more tuna. What's your number 1? What's the worst movie you've seen in 2020? This was very hard for me, but what?
This was not. This is really not difficult.
Okay.
Hubie Halloween.
I'm glad I didn't watch that.
The only thing I'm going to say is Adam Sandler.
Why are you still acting? Why is he still?
We don't need to discuss
We
this.
don't need to discuss it.
Adam
It's
Sandler.
just fuck.
Literally,
I have a pain in my eye. thinking
I have
about
a pain in my entire body thinking about that film.
it. My God.
And it was truly the most atrocious and most offensive. I love that people cannot get away. I know I said I didn't want to talk about it, but now I am feeling impassioned to do so. I love that people can be like, oh my God, why did you cast Penelope Cruz as a Cuban when she's Spanish? Whereas Adam Sandler can play a retarded person
For his
for
whole
comedy.
life. For his life.
And people are like, this is funny. There was nothing fucking funny about Hubie Halloween. Nothing. Literally zip. The worst fucking film I think I've ever seen in my
I think-
life.
Honestly, if you just look back over the last maybe 10 to 20 years of Adam Sandler's films...
I have to say, Uncut Gems and Punch Drunk Love, those two films, he's very, very good in.
But
and
that's
they're very
a
good films.
stretch,
That's
like,
a massive stretch. If he did more films like that, I might be more impressed by him. And I know what he can do, but then I see him doing Hubie Halloween, and I'm like, you're a dickhead. You literally are the biggest dickhead out.
Do you think he made... we talked about Ryan Murphy getting this cracker deal with Netflix, and he has to make stuff, content.
Yes, Adam Sandler's done the same with Netflix, yeah. So he's got to. And he's actually said he's going to make the worst film ever made. If it's worse than Hubie Halloween, God help us all.
It stars him, Anne Hathaway, and Ben Affleck. With Nicolas Cage as a samurai. And
oh my
I
God.
can't believe Jiu-Jitsu isn't on our list, but we haven't seen it. There's a lot of stuff that should be on these lists,
Probably.
and we just haven't had the chance.
They haven't come out in the UK yet, that's one thing we should clarify. There's a lot of things that haven't reached the UK yet. And reached us, so that's why they're not on our list, and we've also established our list based on what we would never watch again.
Yeah.
We would watch again.
Yeah.
So what's your number one worst movie?
Prom.
That's your number one?
That is my number
wow,
one.
okay.
It's
Ryan Murphy.
If you remember my reaction from whenever
The trailer.
we watched the trailer.
Master George.
No.
I got something. I think everybody remembers that reaction.
Fuck.
No.
No. As soon as I saw that, I knew what kind of movie it was going to be for me, and I wasn't disappointed in my thoughts on that.
Yeah. Let's just say it was ironic that he directed a film about narcissists playing into his own narcissism in that film.
Wow.
Really?
Just wow.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean...
Did you not see that? Did you not see that as a completely egotistical, narcissistic trip?
It was just ironic.
It was.
And hypocritical.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
That is my number one worst movie of 2020. And
wow, some pretty shit shows in there.
I mean, everything else I kind of found difficult placing in its numbers there.
You
but
find
that
it harder
one,
to do your lists than I did?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I don't really like to speak bad of movies because
No.
I know the work involved. I know what goes into them.
Yeah.
But fuck me, when you have that much experience and money and talent behind you, and you need to up your game. Like,
yeah.
Seriously, it's just. But no, for me, number one is The Prom. It was the worst for me. Thank you very much, Ryan Murphy, again. But yes.
Thanks for all your contributions to the world of...
You can take a break now,
Yeah,
honestly.
you can go away.
Yeah, really. So let's cheer things up with our top 10 of 2020 of the best movies that we've seen. If you're still with us.
Which they probably will be, which is why I'm trying to like get people.
Because it's going to be like 3 days long.
We can edit it into separate videos.
Calvin?
Okay, so my 10th favourite film of the year was...
Tell me.
Spike Lee joint, Da 5 Bloods.
Oh, yeah.
It was really good.
I didn't see it.
Did you not?
No.
A very, very good film.
Very busy
about four friends. Chadwick Boseman.
Oh,
is
yes.
in it.
Oh, yes. Of
they
course.
play... it's about 4 former Vietnam vets who go back because they've hidden gold in Vietnam. They then go back to find this gold.
Oh, right.
And it kind of... what's so great about Da 5 Bloods was they changed the aspect ratio. So for like modern day, it's like full screen.
Right,
for
okay.
the old times, it's like 16mm.
Interesting.
It's really, really cool. It's really innovative. Great performances from Delroy Lindo, especially,
Yeah.
who
Oh,
better
is
get
it
an
that?
Oscar nomination. He better get a bloody Oscar nomination. He's incredible.
Very good.
It was quite a long film.
I
There
liked
was
it.
a lot of quite hard things to stomach in terms of the violence. It was quite a gritty film,
Graphic.
and it does show you a lot of things. You know, the man in Vietnam that got shot in the head by the
yes.
thing, they actually show that
Yeah.
full thing in the movie and stuff. So it was quite an intense film. I really enjoyed it. Aesthetically, it was really, really well done. Spike Lee's a great writer, he's a great director. It was a great film, very well acted, loved it.
Spike Lee's kind of like the Daniel Day-Lewis of the directing world. He just kind of disappears for
And
a while,
and then comes
back. Something
Yeah.
massive, and
Yeah.
he always
Yeah.
like impresses.
Yeah,
Or he's up for
and he
some
really did.
award.
Da 5 Bloods, it was probably is one of the lasting
Okay.
favourites
I
of mine
will
from
check it
2020.
out. Number 10 in my best of list is Trial of the Chicago 7, which
Written and directed by the man that I can't say. Aaron Sorkin.
Well, Aaron.
Fuck, I'll never forget it.
It was surprising. Definitely not
Yeah.
what the trailer was selling to me, and I was blown away with it. I thought it was a very, very good show.
Yeah,
Very
it
good.
is.
And really enjoyed it.
Fantastic
I would
cast.
watch it again, definitely. But not the kind of movie I would necessarily run to watch.
Yeah, I think
But it caught me, like, it
yeah.
caught me off guard.
I think
Yeah.
there was a part of it that it didn't explore some of the other characters as in depth as others, which was kind of let me down a wee bit. I could have sat, because it was only 2 hours 15. I thought it was a much longer film than that. If they had have actually extended that, I would have sat for 3 hours watching other elements of that story being developed a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's a great movie.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh my god, battery.
Yeah. Okay, so
winter.
number 8?
9.
Number 9. Oh, really? So,
My
so
number 9.
9.
Well, my number 9 best film of 2020 was Tenet. Yeah, I know, but George, listen, okay.
Look, it's quite close on the overlap of best and
Yeah.
good there.
That's
so
because this year has been, I think had we got a lot of the other films that we were supposed to get this year,
Yes.
Tenet probably wouldn't be on my top 10 list.
No.
I did like what Christopher Nolan tried to do. I think he is almost trying to
Like a James Bond movie?
well, a James Bond movie with, I mean, that's what it was. But I did
Oh,
like the heater.
Let me
Am I
turn
gonna
that-
have to start all over again?
yes.
Oh no!
Sorry.
Okay, my number 9 film is Tenet.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, it is on the cusp of the best and worst.
The Capricorn on the cusp of Aquarius.
Look, it's 2 steps
That's
away
fine.
from my choice.
I mean-
of it, so
If we had have got every other film that we were supposed to get this year, Tenet probably would not have seen the light of day on
yeah,
my top 10.
Yeah.
But I did think it was very well made. I liked that Nolan chose practical effects over a lot of green screen and stuff. You know, they did the car
Yeah,
flip, they
which
did the airplane
yeah.
crash. I mean,
Appreciated
hello.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
loved it. Well cast. As bland as John David Washington's character, the protagonist, was.
Yeah.
I did like the cast. I liked Kenneth Branagh's kind of atypical Bond villain
Yes,
style.
it very much was,
yeah.
wasn't it?
But in terms of visual, sound design, all of that, it was really, the sound design was
design.
bombastic. It was good.
It was bombastic.
If that had have been kind of just,
Yeah, or we had sat further back.
we were far enough back, George.
I know.
And I was still being blown through the
another
back
screen.
wall. Yeah. But it for me, it did have a lot of really standout moments, and it has stuck with me this year. So
Okay.
it is my 9th favourite film of
Okay.
2010. What?
2010.
2020.
I actually wish it was. Mine's was my number 9 would have been Wolfwalkers, which I really enjoyed. The
Yeah.
Irish animation. We both went together to see
did.
that. We loved it. It was
We did.
beautifully done.
It was.
What had they had done before? The book?
The Secret of Kells.
Secret of Kells,
Yeah.
which is very similar style, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But this was just... I don't think I've seen an animation as original and beautiful since Studio Ghibli's heyday.
Yeah.
Like that was really gorgeous. So
I like that you
so
can still
different.
see the pencil
Yeah,
marks and all in the...
just beautiful. It almost looked like
it was
an
amazing.
art student's... You know when an art student would create an animation for like our festival entries
Like a
and
flip
stuff.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had that kind of vibe in it.
Do you know what it felt
But
like? It felt
bigger,
like...
bigger.
It did.
Yeah.
And do you know what it was like? Imagine you had like a huge tapestry on your wall.
Yes, that's what
and
it-
you just
yeah, watched
followed that along and just allowed that camera to sweep through it.
That's exactly what it was like. Yeah.
That's
beautiful.
It was like a quilted magical anime. Oh my fuck! It was.
And
glorious.
as much as we loved it, for me, why it's so high up there on my list or so low on my list
You didn't like the voice
was
work?
the voice work and the sound. There was something missing with the sound. A lot of it just seemed unnatural, and they're dubbing their voices. And Sean Bean, I mean, I don't know.
At least he didn't die.
He didn't die. I mean, nearly
Oh,
died.
he did.
Did he?
He becomes a. Oh, he was
No,
bitten.
he
but
was
becomes
bitten,
a-
but he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't die. But I mean,
Spoilers. Yeah.
that there kind of held it back for me from being just a bit better down the list. But anyway, worth seeing.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
What's your number?
My number 8 is the 800.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well.
I know you're a little bit disappointed at me for putting it so far
No,
down my
I'm just
list.
glad it's in your list though.
Yes,
because you
it
did
was super.
rave about it.
I mean,
You
it
loved it.
was incredible. One of the best war films I've seen in a very, very long time, and I do love the war genre, and I love history. I love, especially when it comes to war things, you know that I love my explosions and people getting shot and maimed. I'm not a serial killer. I just really, I get
Well,
very
this was
excited by
one. This
action.
was one of those films where your hands were up like this
I-
a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh my god, like, because there was body parts just
Shock.
going everywhere. There was bullets flying past people, flying past our ears as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And characters, there was,
The
it
sound design,
captured...
the
Yeah.
cinematography was spectacular.
But
the
what it was,
acting
it
strong.
captured the absolute chaos and disarray of war. There's a lot of war films that are very clean. Dunkirk, it's like little vignettes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of things going on, and it's almost like war is here, war is there, war
Yeah.
is here. In this film, it's fucking all
You're
around
in
them.
it. You're in the middle of it.
You are, and
Yeah.
it's so tense. That tunnel scene, I was literally,
Wow.
I mean, I think I was holding my breath as well. I was like,
It was something else.
just, I mean, the highest grossing film of the year,
Yeah.
500 odd million, absolutely incredible. And yes, it should be higher on my list. The problem is that there were other films that I quicker go back to watch. The 800 is a film
Well,
that
yes,
I
there's-
wouldn't watch consistently because it would lose a lot of its edge and
Yeah.
a lot of its intensity if I watched it too much.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
liked that I was so
Whereas
immersed.
I think if you go back to watch it again, there's going to be much more to see because
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
know, I think there is something, not something. There's a lot we missed because there was so much going on,
Definitely.
but in a positive way.
Yeah.
Not unlike Tenet, where you need to watch it again to really kind of catch what's going on. I think
Well,
with
it's
the
stupid
8
people need to watch
yeah,
it.
with the 800, it was more a case of the
There's so much.
set design. It was just
Set was incredible.
it blew my mind.
I mean, it blew my mind, and
Yeah.
it just, it literally didn't let up for the entire 2.5
No.
hours of the film.
And
there was
it was
very,
also
very little
one that
breathing
we
space.
both went to see that unexpectedly. It was just kind of like
Just like came out, and then
We
we were
didn't-
out of lockdown, and it was like, oh, let's go see the
Yeah.
800.
it was one
And
of
it
the few
was
we got.
so that is my
number 8. My number
on the
8
list.
is this Taiwanese movie.
which I still have yet to
800
watch.
was Chinese. Is Your Name Engraved Herein?
Yeah,
Also known as The Name Engraved in My Heart, I think.
your name engraved.
Your Name Engraved Herein. Taiwanese gay movie about, well, not a gay movie, a movie about gay
Man,
men or just love.
it's just about.
It's
I
just
was
a
just
movie
about to say
about
that
love.
about movie about love. Yeah.
There was no specific gayness about it, apart from the fact that this guy, Ahan, falls in love with this other guy who
Birdie.
joined Birdie, who they both joined a school band. They see each other, they connect. We've all been there. And that to me
Yeah.
is what really made it different. I said earlier with Ryan Murphy stuff, I don't like to watch too many gay themed movies because they paint such the wrong picture.
Yeah.
And it must be a Western thing. Whereas with this, it was so beautifully done.
Yeah.
And it was so real.
Yeah. I've yet to watch it, obviously, but
Yeah.
the thing is, as you said, it falls in the LGBTQ category.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't.
No,
It has to be categorized, unfortunately, but as you say, it just sounds like a love story.
it is.
And a lot of the films, remember
But
I
in
did
real
my
way.
LGBT unboxing?
Mm-hmm,
A lot of those films in there
Or
are just
similar, like
stories
Yeah.
about people who
yeah.
just happen to be men falling in love with men or women falling in love with women. We watched some great short films for the Sandbar
Yeah,
Film
yeah, yeah,
Festival,
yeah. Oh.
which fell under LGBTQ.
Yeah.
And they were just really, really well told stories.
Well, this is one that had it come to our festival would have won.
yeah.
It
okay.
was a
I'm very excited to watch
beautifully
it.
made movie. And again, I think
Netflix and so on, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's on
Yeah.
Netflix. But I think we've all been in that position where we fall in love with somebody we know we can't have, and
Yeah.
you build up a relationship with them, and then it doesn't go to where you want it to
Mm-hmm.
go, and it is very heartbreaking watching it. But they take it further than that. They let you see the aftermath almost without it sounding
Wow.
like it's a disaster movie. But
Well, like cry.
yeah, you should do. Yeah,
Okay.
because there is quite
I'm in lieu of a good cry.
Well, there's quite a few emotional scenes in it for no other reason than you relate to these characters, but you also feel for them.
Yeah.
Because they're real. They're not. There's no
Hollywood.
There's no Hollywood at all in it, which was what made it beautiful, and it is really well shot. And yeah. Definitely watch it. But I would put it down the list a bit more. But there was, as you say, more stuff I would go back to.
Yeah, quicker.
Yeah. But yeah.
So
number 7.
My 7th one is Wolfwalkers.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Oh, just
already talked about it. Beautiful piece of animation. It was so refreshing to see something that wasn't Disney.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And because we don't have Ghibli anymore, we do have movies coming out, obviously, from people that worked at Studio Ghibli.
Yes,
the likes of Red Turtle
and the
Witch's Flower,
which is beautiful. And
but it's been a long time since we've had where I've seen an animation where I've been really kind of
hooked by it, because it did.
I was mesmerized. I mean, you know, I don't think I blinked once the whole way through the film.
No.
I was captivated completely. I was absolutely mesmerized by everything about it. I was mesmerized by the animation, the layout, that kind of 2D, the pencil drawing, the fluidity
refreshing.
of the movements as well, which was sometimes a little bit jumpy, but there was something very beautifully almost ethereal.
But
and
it was original.
Oh, it was so
compared to this the Pixar stuff and the
Pixar's never short of innovation.
No, but it's that style, that CG animated
Yes.
stuff that really has taken over now.
Yeah.
Whereas this thing,
this felt
refreshing.
like a labour of love.
Without a doubt.
Wolfwalkers feels to me like this should be the best animated feature winner. Now, obviously we'll get into other films that we liked later, but for me, I think Wolfwalkers should win Best Animated Feature because I think it feels like a labour of love. It feels like these people were so passionate about making this film so unique,
it's
so
like
beautiful,
looking
and so
at a tapestry. And if you got a camera...
Stop fucking copying what I said, but that's exactly what it was like. It was just this beautiful mosaic of a film, and I absolutely loved it.
Good. Okay, well, my number 7 was Enola Holmes, which I really, 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 really enjoyed.
Yes. Primarily for?
Well, I mean, no, well, Henry Cavill, I am a big fan of. But,
are you really?
Well, yeah, I mean, when he's naked. But, no, I did. Millie Bobby Brown is just wonderful.
Fabulous.
Absolutely wonderful. She was the highlight of it. It was her show. It was
the Millie Bobby Brown show. It was Enola Holmes.
Yeah. Funny.
Yeah.
Very... Just, you know what? It was just a fun movie.
What was so good? It had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, it was just, there was nothing complicated.
It was a very well structured film, wasn't it?
Better than all the Harry Potters.
Put together? Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It was just...
I want more Enola Holmes.
You didn't need to think.
Nope.
And usually with a Sherlock theme thing, you kind of... You got to be smart a wee bit. But no, this was just wonderful.
Some great wee fights.
I can't wait for more.
Yeah.
So I can. And again, yes, it
and more from her.
Could be down the list, but... I mean, I would watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what am I on?
6.
My 6th favourite film. You've yet to see this, but I watched it. 6th.
Yeah, not Sith.
I didn't say Seth.
5th.
6th. Fuck me.
Not me. Oh, I farted when I laughed there.
Ew! Okay, so my 6th favourite was, you've yet to see it, was Happiest Season. With Kristen Stewart, Mackenzie Davis, Mary Steenburgen, Victor Garber, Aubrey Plaza,
and hot off Schitt's Creek,
Dan Levy.
Yes.
Playing
David.
Levy, but this film again falls into a category, but I'm not even going to talk about it because it's not relevant. It's basically about these two girls who are going out with each other. One girl asks her girlfriend to come home with her at Christmas.
Right.
Then on the way there, informs the girlfriend, played by Kristen Stewart. So Harper is played by Mackenzie Davis. Abby is played by Kristen Stewart. Abby has been invited to Harper's house for Christmas.
Right.
And then Harper tells her, oh, remember I told my parents I was gay and they were okay with it? Well, actually, I didn't.
Uh-oh.
Surprise! Then, of course, you can see Abby being like, I'd be like, stop
Guard
the
up.
car.
Yeah.
And I'm getting out. And you know I've been in that situation, going to my ex's home where his parents didn't even want to know who I was and thinking, oh my god, I'm going to die if I get here. Anyway, I related to that's why I related this film so much, because the first time I ever met my ex's parents, and I won't say their name because that's not right, but the first time I ever met them was on Christmas. So I related to this film an awful lot.
Okay.
So that's, I think, but it was also very cleverly written. It's written and directed by Clea Duvall, who anybody that grew up in the 90s will know from like The Faculty, But I Am a Cheerleader.
Yes.
You know, she was quite a well known, you know, she was seen in everything. She wasn't well known, but she was a face that you've seen in every 90s teen movie ever. Okay. So she's written and directed this, very competent script, very, very funny. It's incredibly, incredibly well acted. The thing is, Kristen Stewart's the most likeable person in this film. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it.
Well, you better, because she's very, very good. And everyone else is so unlikable. And you are so driven to be like, I fucking hate this family.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, it's very, very good. But the end, you actually... What makes the end surprising is that it's the atypical ending, but you think it's going in a different direction. You're like, she's not going back with
Makes you a
Harper.
bit nervous
Harper's an
about it.
absolute bitch.
Yeah.
If she goes back with Harper, I'm done. Now, obviously, it's a Hollywood movie. Very, very well written. It's going to be a festive favourite for mine. I'm definitely going to watch it every Christmas because I really, really enjoy it. And because I connected with the story and could actually relate to Abby as a person, I was like, this is so true. The Kristen Stewart's very good at playing anxiety. She has that kind of natural awkwardness.
Probably just her, theoretically.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. She has that kind of natural awkwardness and anxiety about her that makes it, when she acts it, it's so realistic. When you watch it, you're like, fuck, she clearly is very anxious as a person anyway. That's it. It actually makes this so much more. But what is so lovely is she smiles in this film, she laughs, she cries, and she's sympathetic. She can smile. And it's so nice.
You like it?
I like Kristen Stewart and I like this movie, so there we go.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay. Well, my number...
That was very long-winded.
It was indeed, I'll make this quick. My number 6 was Soul, thanks. Number 5. No, it's Soul. From Disney Pixar.
Yeah.
It was fabulous. I actually think this could be my favourite Pixar movie.
Really?
Well, it's hard. That's a very strong word, but it's it's definitely up there. It's definitely one of their more mature offerings. Beautifully animated. I mean, the lighting. Oh my god, the lighting is spectacular in it. But totally not the childish, fun Pixar movie that we're used to, and that's what surprised me. Soundtrack gorgeous, the soul music and all.
The jazz music.
But wow. Just
amazing voice cast.
A surprise movie, definitely a surprise movie. Beautiful, emotional, and I would watch it quite a bit actually. Yeah, really, really like it.
We can continue talking about it because it was my 5th favourite film of the year. Loved it, as you said, the animation, especially in the what was it called?
Oh well, the other, the zone.
Yeah, the zone. Gorgeous colouring.
Yeah.
Beautiful animation. I loved them going into the through the box and into the kind of Lost Souls area, or that in between bit, the zone bit. It was so incredible. I loved the choices of Jamie Foxx and Julia Louis-Dreyfus together. I thought the choice of her being the 22nd soul to ever exist, and they picked Julia Louis-Dreyfus's voice, and it's like she's like, I just like this voice. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is just such a great actress, and I really like her. And even whenever she's voicing somebody, I just can see her visually. You know, I can see Elaine from Seinfeld. I can see.
Oh no, all I see her is
VP.
Just how I see
as
her.
Selena.
Yeah.
Selena Meyer is just a legendary character, and I just love Julia Louis-Dreyfus is 22, Jimmy Fox, Angela Bassett, Felicia Rashad.
It was huge,
big cast.
And Graham Norton.
That surprised me. See, when it came up at the end, I was like, "What? Did I read that correctly?"
That was as soon as he spoke, I was.
I didn't have.
Did you not get it?
No, it wasn't until
really?
the end. I was like, "Well, Graham." But what? As you said, what was quite nice about it was quite mature.
Yeah.
Whenever when the tone shifted and they went to Graham Norton's character, whatever his character was called, and they went back to Earth, and then he got put in the cat. I was a bit like,
they're gonna go this way.
I was a bit like unconvinced.
Yeah.
And then whenever the theme started to develop, I was like, I'm buying this now.
Yeah.
However, I did dislike the ending, which is why it's kind of fallen down. Because
really?
I did, people may not have seen it, but you know what I'm talking about. I kind of wanted, thought it was his time. Do you know what I mean? I kind of thought, you know what, he had his time, maybe he should have just gone on. They gave him that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more so, I think if there was kids watching it at an understanding age, they might have found that maybe too disheartening if it had went that way, but yeah, no, it was beautiful.
Well, life doesn't happen like that.
No, I know, but they don't.
But it's Disney Pixar.
Yeah.
And not my favourite, but certainly in my top 3, along with Inside Out and WALL-E.
Inside Out I couldn't really take to.
I loved it, absolutely loved it.
And WALL-E I couldn't really take to, but that definitely, just didn't really bore me.
Soul was very beautiful,
but
and
Soul,
definitely, it's going to get an Oscar nomination.
That's what I say, it was a surprise. It was a surprise for me.
And I was worried because so many other films had been so shit. I was like, please don't let Soul be one of those films that people hate.
Yeah, because Onward was just okay.
Yeah. It was probably actually my least favourite Pixar movie ever.
Yeah.
I even liked A Bug's Life more than I liked Onward. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, well my number 5 was...
What was your number 5?
A Netflix movie.
No way.
Called, not from Netflix, it was a South Korean movie called The Call. Renamed The Call.
Yeah, okay.
Wow. Again, nothing spectacularly. I suppose we've seen things like this before, and this is a time jump kind of movie, but through a phone call, and set in the same house, and one girl's able to phone 20 years in the past and future, and so they're able to connect with each other, but in doing so, manage to try to stop a serial killer in a particular area. I don't want to try and give away too much here, but it gets tense, it gets bloody, it gets scary, it gets really, really like edgy kind of stuff here. And you think at the start, because you've kind of just got such minimal acting and setting, or actors and setting, because it was shot over the COVID period, that you're kind of thinking, is this really going to take off? Oh, hang on, they make the first phone call, that was far too easy, this doesn't make, any sense, but then it really just runs, and it almost grabs you by the hair as it's running, and it does not let go. Very, very good, very exciting, but I don't, it's gone, because they grabbed it.
Ripped it out.
But they, I don't want to speak too much, because there's too much surprises.
Yeah, and I haven't watched it yet.
And it is worth a watch.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a watch. That was my number 5.
Yeah. It's my number 4. Enola Holmes.
Yay!
Yay! I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Millie Bobby Brown just rocks my world.
You're
I'm a massive fan of hers. I love Stranger Things, and I just think, and now that I hear what she's got coming out in the future as well, I'm like, this girl is going to take over my life.
Yeah, I really do like her. I have no complaints about her at all. I just needed room for other stuff there.
Yeah, no, it's a movie that I have revisited since I watched it, and because it made me feel really good, and I was smiling, and I loved her like breaking the fourth wall, talking to us. It made me much more invested in the character of Enola, because it felt like she was talking to me.
It's very Miranda Hart.
It was, yeah,
wasn't
and
it?
she was lovely, and I liked that. 'Tis I.
Tis I.
I mean, that's one of my favorite parts. But it was just so good, and it was such a complete film. And there are other books in the franchise that need adapted, and I just hope that Millie.
I hope it goes on.
Yeah.
We
need a female.
I'm gonna watch it soon
franchise.
with the kids again. I think.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And again, is it Is it one of the best films of the year? No. Is it one of the most enjoyable ones? 100%. And this is why these films are so high up my list. Why the next films are higher. They're not the best films on a technical level, but they are certainly the most enjoyable. And Enola Holmes is one that I will 100% revisit.
Bam. Right, number 4. Was that your number 4?
That was my number 4.
Fuck. Okay, mine's is another South Korean movie.
Fuck.
Called #Alive.
Is it called #Alive or is it called Alive just with a hashtag?
No, it's
Or-
#Alive,
Okay.
I believe. I mean, it's a symbol, you know. So
I mean, do people say...
my number 4 is Alive. It doesn't really work. But highest earner of the year in South
Entire-
Korea,
yeah.
both in the cinema and on streaming and video demand and all that, because there wasn't much going on, but also given its setting and the story behind it and what we're all going through right now, it worked.
Highly relatable.
Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow. I held back from watching this for maybe a month or so.
I only watched it last night.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's what I mean. I don't think Netflix were really selling it well with what they were showing, their wee teasers or their big teasers. I just kind of was like, oh, another zombie movie. And yes, I've made them myself, but sometimes you see too much zombie, you just kind of get too much zombie. And yes, you can never have enough too much zombie, blah, 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 but you can.
You can. Walking Dead.
But then I kind of thought, well, I'll get up early one morning and I'll watch this while I'm making breakfast and kind of, just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Within 2 minutes,
Hooked.
that shit kicks off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no introduction really, is there?
No.
But
I learned a couple of lessons from Alive.
listen,
Never drop a rope
never
from your balcony.
Never. Was that not the most terrifying moment?
I was literally like shitting a brick.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, so never
That-
never ever drop a rope from your balcony because it's not going to save you. Not in today's world.
Do you know, I think it's totally sold to the Western audience there.
Yeah.
Like
Because it feels like Black Friday
right.
and literally
It
COVID
just,
at the minute.
yeah, it just was. Yeah, this needs. I think you need to watch it if you're a horror fan. If
Yeah.
you're
100% if you're a horror fan. Yeah.
just want an exciting movie. This does it. This was.
But it also
such-
plays into the reliance, which is quite timely, the reliance on technology and things like that.
It's-
there, and,
yeah, the reliance
and that
on
kind of-
technology.
it disintegrating, and people then being like, "What do we do
But also
to pass
the
time?"
mental health of
Yes.
people being alone
Yeah.
in such a pivotal time because he was pushed to the point of suicide.
So yeah, like literally throwing himself right into those zombies.
And hanging himself in his
Yeah.
bed in his apartment because he felt he was alone, and
Mm-hmm.
even after such a short period of time, it was eating him. But
Oh,
but wow,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, bloody hell, can't wait to watch it again.
yeah,
So I can't. But yes, that's my number 4.
yeah. Well, my number 3 is Birds of Prey. Yeah, a lot of people will be like, well, your top 3 are shit. These are not the best films of the year. They're certainly the most enjoyable films that I've seen this year, and this year has been harsh.
But you know what's exciting?
And what
Because that's my number 3 as well.
is it? Okay, so you can talk about it.
Yes. Okay, go.
Loved Margot.
Love her.
Loved Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Brilliant.
Loved Journey Smollett Bell.
Oh my god.
Loved Rose Press.
Stop.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, this, even like Ewan McGregor in this,
was
this
so
had
fun.
some of the fights, that scene on the
were
roller
exciting.
skates was
Yes.
fantastic.
Do you know what? This was like a live action cartoon.
Yeah, it was.
Without a doubt.
Very much so.
I think what they've done there is they sat back and they looked at how amazing Deadpool were, both movies were,
Yeah.
and they were like, we need to do this,
Yeah.
but up it. And
Yeah.
they did that.
Oh, they upped that shit.
Yeah.
And it was a film featuring women.
Mm-hmm.
It was colourful, it was energetic, it was vibrant, it was funny, it was action-packed, it was
hilarious.
brutal. It was so just... And I loved it. I think I watched it about 6 times.
Oh,
this
really?
time,
Yeah, I've
right?
watched it a few
I
times, yeah.
have literally...
Because we went
been
to see it
obsessing.
together in
Yeah,
the
we did.
cinema, and
Way
we-
back in March, just before lockdown.
My God.
Literally 2 weeks before lockdown it was released.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
But we loved it.
We loved it.
We came out of there thinking that was one of the best things we'd seen
Yeah.
all year.
Yeah.
3 months. But
Yeah.
it was still, I think, with the first Suicide Squad movie being such a major disappointment,
Yeah.
and her character being so
Underused.
brilliant,
Yeah.
and so underused, that this really justified who she was and
Yes.
what this was about, and it worked.
It makes me want either more Birds of Prey, which I doubt we'll get,
No.
or a Gotham City Sirens film with Catwoman and Poison Ivy. I just want more Margot
But
as
more
Harley.
like that, yeah.
I want
Yeah.
this kind of fun, caricatured Harley Quinn.
I kind of hope
with their
I
clothing.
kind of hope it's not a one-off.
Sorry, I'm only spreading
And
my
then-
eyes because my thumb hurts. Yeah.
I hope it's not a one-off,
Yeah.
and I think they should see the success of that and just
Yeah.
take it and run with it.
Yeah.
But that was both of our number 3s.
Yeah.
That's wow. That's
And it
the
was just-
first
it was
thing
just
we've
super
ever
fun.
done. It was a lot of fun.
This year
A
for
lot
me
of fun.
is not about quality.
Yeah.
It's about it is
It's
about quality,
entertaining.
but it's this year has been about entertainment
yeah.
for me, and Birds of Prey entertained me to no end.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. So
yeah.
number 2.
Number 2, go for
What's
it.
what's my my number 2
Yes.
was Invisible Man.
Oh.
I absolutely loved it.
See, I really did too. I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed it. But what's on my list? I kind of
Yeah, I
felt
know you-
was just
yeah.
a wee bit more enjoyable.
So what was I saying? Where did I get to before we got?
Casting.
Okay, so the best thing that they did about this film was casting Elizabeth Moss's Cecilia cast in this film, and her anxiety levels about what I liked. I've been in a domestically abusive relationship, so a character that I could, even though she's female, I could kind of identify with.
Yeah.
I've also had a stalker, so I know what it feels like to. Well, it was George. It actually wasn't, because I wouldn't be sitting here right now. But so I've had elements of what that film portrayed, and I could really relate to her anxiety. And watching it, it didn't feel inauthentic. It felt like she was genuinely scared for her.
It was almost like
life.
she was doing scenes where they didn't tell her what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
almost
it
like she had no
surprised her.
idea. But it's just because she's a quality actress. She's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. If
Yeah.
you've seen The Handmaid's Tale, you'll know how incredible she really
Yes.
is. But it was so good. I like that they took the Invisible Man concept from the Universal Monsters Day and kind of totally reinvented it, redid it. Like they tried to do with Hollow Man, which was really, really good. But they've redone it again as the Invisible Man. It worked really, really well for me. It had the scares. It had the intensity. It had the amazing production design. It had great acting. It had some really surprise moments. I was blown away by it. It was one of the best Blumhouse films I think I've seen since Halloween 2018. Those are the two best Blumhouse films I think I've ever seen. And it was top quality. I know that they're doing The Invisible Woman with Elizabeth Banks.
Oh, really?
I don't know how it's going to work. And Elizabeth Moss isn't coming back. Elizabeth Banks is actually going to play the
Elizabeth Moss character?
No, is
Or
going to
her
play the
Sorry?
Invisible Woman. Anyway, whatevs.
Is this Blumhouse?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know. But The Invisible Man, definitely. I've watched it again many, many times since
Yeah,
it's
it's
come
very,
out
very
on
good.
home
I
video.
like to
and I'm
see that
picking up
again.
tiny little things that I didn't notice in the original. Just little
bits.
details.
Little bits.
And I like that. So Invisible Man, definitely one of the best films of the year for me.
Well, my number... Was that your number 2?
That was my number 2.
Wow. My number 2 is Wonder Woman 84.
Wow.
Yeah. And the reason it's number 2 and not number 1 is because there was a better movie at number 1, but also at number 2. And do you know what? I loved it. Absolutely. It was worth the wait.
Yeah, 100%.
It was phenomenal. But what just didn't hit that 5-star mark for me was I felt that not that there was a lack of action as such. That's not what disappointed me. It was the action scenes themselves were very kind of just lethargic. They were very slow. No, there were some of them that were amazing, like the truck chase on the desert
Yes, the
highway
Cairo
and stuff.
chase,
That,
yeah.
like, oh my god, that was wow. But the big end fight between her and Cheetah was kind of meh. It was just, I think Wonder Woman, the first movie, the action scenes with her in that were phenomenal. Like there was
They were
some
epic.
big stuff.
Yeah.
And I was kind of expecting that, and it didn't come. And especially with the introduction to Cheetah, I was like, oh, this is going to be a massive showdown. And it wasn't. It just kind of, there was a wee bit of throwing about.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was more chances for posing. But the fights, there just wasn't impact with them. There just wasn't as much power, I didn't feel. But apart from that, everything else was wonderful. It was amazing. Actually, like just a beautiful superhero movie. And set in the 80s, they did it perfectly. Like, we talked about this watching it, you know, the amount of things they saw and you know, the detail, the attention to detail, the art direction. Production design was fantastic. And what do you call your man, Pedro?
Pedro Pascal.
Fantastic again, you know.
It's Maxwell Lord.
Yeah, like I really, really, really enjoyed it, but the action, the fact that they had kind of replaced, not replaced, but they'd taken out a lot of potential action scenes for more character development and more story, which was fine. But as I say, the action that they'd left in there wasn't as impactful as I'd hoped it would be, which was just my little niggle about it. But yes, phenomenal film. But what was your number two? Was it your number? What was your number one then?
My number one was Wonder Woman 84.
What?
You know, for me, this film, the hate that it's getting is totally unjustified.
Yeah,
I feel
don't
like
understand
a lot of people are totally missing the point. I think what has happened over the years with Marvel and with DC is that it's like action, 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 give us action, 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 action. This film is 2.5 hours and it really, really goes into Diana's loneliness, how she's had to go from the war, you know, through all these decades of being very much alone and feeling lost in the world, not really having a place, but not having a place.
And her decisions to make herself happy.
The things that she's had to sacrifice and get rid of or introduce into her life. It was such an it gave Gal Gadot probably the most emotional scene of 2020. I found, you know, it really it showed me that she's actually a capable actress.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
And that's why I loved. She was hitting the jokes. She was hitting the emotion, and I've got like dry mouth. She was hitting it all. I liked that this took the time to develop Maxwell and Barbara, Cheetah, and
she surprised me. Yeah,
Kristen Wiig was totally surprising in this role.
like her.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that she would perhaps fit into this, but she did.
She did.
She was
Very,
fantastic.
very well.
Fantastic.
And it allowed me to go on each of the 3 perspective journeys, you know, through the Dreamstone, through their wishes, what they gained and what they lost felt very real.
Yeah.
You know, the action for me was, I loved the opening action scene because it felt very 80s.
Yes,
it felt like a nice sweet throwback.
Yeah.
And the Cairo car chase, as we said, was very, very good.
Yes.
But there was just some really lovely elements, like the invisible jet.
Yes.
How she got her powers of flight. I liked that Patty and Gal and everybody involved in it introduced all of those little tiny elements. I liked that this film didn't feature a mad showdown. No. I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to...
slightly was reduced.
You know, the fight with Cheetah, I mean, for her to become Cheetah took too long for me. I would have liked to have seen her as
that's what I mean.
the Cheetah.
It was suddenly we get her and then it's over.
Yeah.
You know.
Which was... You know, but I could deal with it because it was an entertaining fight. It made sense to the story why it had to happen and why she became Cheetah and all of that. But what I liked was this relied very much on the power of Wonder Woman discovering that, you know, she can connect with the world now. She doesn't need to hide. She didn't need the reinforcement of the Justice League.
Yeah.
She is very much a superhero of the times and of her own, in her own way. She isn't following the suit of Aquaman where she's like blowing shit up all over the place. Do you know what I mean? She's like, I miss my lover. I've gone 40 years without him. I can't make friends because I can't get close to people because I can't age and, you know, these people are gonna, you know, everything just was working for me. And so many people were like, oh, it's such a mess. And I was like,
no,
did we watch the same film? We clearly didn't watch the same movie.
No,
this movie was not a mess.
Definitely wasn't a mess.
And it wasn't confusing.
Absolutely not.
It was very, very well structured. I was quite happy with the action scenes that I got. Gal looks amazing whenever she puts on any armor.
I would leave my husband for Gal.
I would leave my whole life for Gal Gadot. I would leave my life for her legs alone. When she appears at that party, those legs are incredible. And it was so nice to be able to sit for 2.5 hours with characters and actually watch them grow into those things.
You were interested in it.
Oh, very much so. Because they were played so well.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig was great. Pedro Pascal was great. Chris Pine came back, was funny, and it was really, really cool.
It was nice to see.
It was, but I liked that only she could see him in what, without giving too much away.
A nice little twist.
Yeah. And the fact that, you know...
But that's the thing about, even with that, that's kind of like some old school writing there.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like something you wouldn't...
It feels 80s.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it in modern day cinema.
No.
You just wouldn't see that. But
and that's what I think people are missing.
Yeah.
Too many snowflakes, and I'm saying it, too many snowflakes about... Whenever you see they're doing this thing, have you seen this trend? The movies that made me, the directors that made me.
I've heard about
They're putting Denis Villeneuve, Christopher Nolan, Martin Scorsese because they think it makes them cool, Steven Spielberg. And I'm like, dudes, you have no fucking idea. You have never clearly watched enough films to really understand why Wonder Woman 84 works so bloody well as a super... It gave me total Superman 78 vibes.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And it just... I mean... even the lasso of truth and the fight scenes and stuff where she's swinging around, and it didn't look really all that convincing, but I was kind of like, I like that it's not, because it gives me that 80s vibe.
It didn't, like her time in the Justice League and everyone's time in the Justice League was very modern action, you know, and it was so different to what we saw in Wonder Woman 84, and that was refreshing.
Yep,
there was something nice about that.
Hans Zimmer score, amazing.
And that final
Adagio and D minor, that kind of use of that.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked, and that again, it could have been my number one.
Yeah.
But it just only for the fact that I just felt slightly that they did a better job of the action in part one, and even that was set before the 80s, so they could have done something with that. But Sonic, fantastic movie. Can't wait to see it again.
Yeah.
Actually, cannot wait to see it again.
I'm dying to see it again.
As is my number one choice, which is the 800, which we have discussed.
You discuss it in more detail.
I just think there is something about the work involved in that, about the impact it had, the shock it had on us watching it. And the realization, just everything about it was much more than what Wonder Woman's a fantasy movie.
Yeah.
I understand that, yes. And the acting
Pure
was great,
escapism.
and the story, yes. But this was just something else for me. It really, and again, a movie that I didn't hear about coming out, and we went to see it as a kind of off the cuff. Yeah.
That was a blind watch.
And that's what took me. That's what just really wow. And the scenes I can still visually almost
I can actually feel the vibrations of some of the
it was something else.
Set pieces.
And I am dying to get my hands on the Blu-ray.
Yeah. We'll check when that's out.
But yes, so that's our top 10 best and worst of 2020. We have numb bums, cotton
We
white,
have numb bums.
fucking freezing because it's minus something outside and
0
it's
degrees,
Baltic.
and it was snowing last night.
And you're in a hoodie.
And I'm in a hoodie because
I think we should have a cup of tea and a wee refreshment. Think about
cup
what
of
we're
tea,
gonna
a
do.
shit, and a wank, and then we'll come back.
Wow, all at once.
All at one time. That's multitasking, bitches.
Woo!
And I'm going to write my review for my next film.
Well, because
While I'm doing
he
this.
has got a third
With my
arm.
tongue.
Happy
Anyway,
New Year.
Happy New Year,
Thanks
everybody.
for watching. Hope you're still alive, getting through this. Fuck.
How could you not be with the entertainment of us?
Yes,
What is it?
And keeping it. What is what? I was
What
just
were you
trying to
looking
get
at?
my slippers. That's what we're doing. We're slipper mode.
I didn't. I brought my big boy
he
shoes.
daren't take his shoes off in this garage.
Why?
Whoa!
Why have you never told me before? Whenever I'm sitting on the sofa watching, why have you never said my feet smell so bad?
George.
Back.
Oh.
I'm back. Guess who's back?
George. I actually can't breathe.
Oh my god! Ow!
Are you okay?
I think so.
Mark, you put a hole in my table.
I did. I'm so sorry. Ow! You put a hole in my fucking table. I've just fallen off the chair.